Om Gam Ganapatya Namaha. Kaliyugada Kalpataru. Fourth Delight. Sri Vyasa Yati Sarvabhouma. Chapter 57. The Conclusion of an Avatara. When the news of Sri Vyasa Tirtharu's frail health reached Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu, who was on Digvijaya Yatra, that is victorious tour of debates and scholarship, through a scholar from Vijayanagar, he was deeply concerned. The revered Sri Surendra Tirtharu, a prominent ascetic, also learned of this and was greatly distressed. He called his dear disciple, Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu, and said, "Beloved disciple, during this time, when our venerable elder is experiencing physical weakness, it is imperative for you to be near him and serve him. He has been the source of all your achievements and takes great joy and pride in hearing of your glory and success. It is your duty to assist and be blessed by him. You must depart for Vijayanagar tomorrow. Convey to the revered Sri Vyasa Yogendra that we are praying for his health and well-being before Sri Moola Raghupati and Vedavyasa Devaru, who are our eternal support. Hearing his Guru's words, Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu, overjoyed at the permission to have darshan of Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, humbly replied, "I will act according to the Guru's command." The next day, with a small entourage and minimal belongings, Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu set out for Vijayanagar. On Falguna Krishna Pratipada of the Vilambi Samvatsara, he arrived at the Sri Vishwapavana Matha in Vijayanagar. When Sri Vyasa Munindra learnt of Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu's arrival, his joy knew no bounds. The thought of his beloved disciple coming filled him with immense enthusiasm and happiness. The entire Matha was abuzz with excitement. At the grand entrance, the entire assembly of monks, led by Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu, along with the officials, scholars, and disciples, prepared to welcome Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu with Purna Kumbha, a ceremonial pot of welcome, and the full honors of the Matha. As Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu entered, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, unable to contain his excitement, rushed past the grand entrance towards his dear disciple and embraced him with great affection. Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu prostrated with full devotion at the Guru's feet. Overwhelmed with emotion, both Guru and disciple wept tears of joy. Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu then lifted Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu up, held his hand, and led him to the main assembly hall. The gathered crowd, witnessing this profound bond of Guru's love and disciples' devotion, praised them, declaring, "There are none who can match the Guru's affection and the disciples' devotion like Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu and Sri Vijayendraru." The hall resounded with cheers and chants in praise of the two spiritual luminaries. That evening, after the lamp worship and while at rest, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu called Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu to a private audience. He inquired about his disciples' well-being and achievements. Listening with joy and shared details about his own health, he said, "Dear disciple, for a long time I have been yearning to call you and share some important matters. Your arrival brings me immense happiness. I believe that it is Sri Hari and Vayu who have brought you here to fulfill my wishes." Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu replied, "Gurudeva, it is my great fortune to have the opportunity to serve you. For many years, I had longed to have your darshan and serve you for some time. That wish has now been fulfilled, and I feel blessed." Smiling gently, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu said, "Beloved Vijayendra, you will not be able to serve us physically for much longer. We have been waiting for you. Now that you are here, our wish is fulfilled. There are some instructions I wish to give you. Fulfilling them will be the greatest service you can render to us." Hearing this, Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu was overcome with concern and asked, "Gurudeva, what are you saying this? Why are you saying this? Your words fill me with fear and anxiety." Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, with a faint smile, reassured him, "There is no need for fear or anxiety. None can defy the divine will of the land. Our time in this world is nearing its end. Sri Hari and Vayu have completed the purpose of this avatara, and the call from Sri Hari has come. You are wise and courageous. Do not grieve our departure. Let this matter remain confidential. On the day of Tritiya, we will entrust the Mahasamsthana to our dear disciple, Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu. And on Chaturthi, we will leave this world while absorbed in meditation on Sri Narayana. You must now give me a promise. Hearing these words, Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu was filled with immense sorrow. The thought of losing the opportunity to serve his Guru weighted heavily on his heart. Tears began to flow from his eyes, and with trembling voice he clasped the Guru's feet and said, Gurudeva, will you leave us as orphans? Who will guide us in the future? He could not continue his grief, choking his voice. Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu with a gentle smile said, Dear Vijayendra, when Sri Moolarama, the Lord of the universe, is your protector, how can you ever be orphaned? You have the complete blessings of Sri Madhvacharya and Tikacharyaru, as well as our blessings and those of Sri Surendra Tirtharu. Your Guru, a wise guide, will always show you the path. Now you must give me your word to fulfill 3 of my requests. First, after my time, you must strengthen the Dvaita philosophy through debates, writings, teachings, and spreading its trump across all opposing schools of thoughts. Proclaim the victory of Dvaita and protect and promote the teachings of Sri Sadashiva Siddhanta, Vaishnava Siddhanta. You are the only capable of this task. Second, you must establish a great center of learning at Kumbakonam, making it a model institution of knowledge for the entire world. Let it serve as the eternal beacon of wisdom and learning. Third, you must ensure the uninterrupted continuation of Mahasamsthana. Stand as an elder brother and guide to our Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu, supporting him in all matters. Foster harmony and trust between the 2 great institutions of Sri Madhvacharya. Work tirelessly for the comprehensive development of Dvaita philosophy and become a beloved servant of Sri Hari and Vayu by promoting righteousness and showing the right path to the world. Hearing the immense responsibilities placed upon him, Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu was overwhelmed with emotion and reverence. He responded, Gurudeva, do I possess the strength for such monumental tasks? Am I truly worthy of such blessings? You must always remain my guiding force and grant me the strength and blessings to fulfill this great mission. I will carry out the duties you have entrusted to me as though you are witnessing them yourself. Saying this, he clasped the Guru's feet and bowed in humility. Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, filled with affection, embraced Vijayendra Tirtharu and placed his divine hand on his head, saying, After my time, all the progress and flourishing of Dvaita philosophy will come through you. With the blessing of Sri Hari and Vayu, you have our heartfelt blessings. At that moment, Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu felt an extraordinary surge of divine energy coursing through his body and nerves. Filled with overwhelming joy, he prostrated before his Guru and said, I am blessed, Gurudeva, and fulfilled. I will dedicate myself completely to accomplishing the responsibilities you have entrusted to me. Afterwards, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu summoned his beloved nephew from his pre-monastic days, Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu, who was also the designated successor to the Mahasamsthana. He offered him extensive guidance, instructing him to consult and act upon the counsel of Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu. Live in harmony as brothers and work together to uphold and enhance the glory and prestige of the 2 great institutions of Sri Madhvacharya. He also mentioned that further details would be provided by Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu and gave him his blessings. Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu humbly accepted, saying, Your command is supreme. The next day, Purandaradasaru, who had been on pilgrimage, returned. This brought immense joy to Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, who said with a smile, Dasarayaru, we were worried about whether you would return in time. Your arrival brings us great happiness. However, Purandaradasara appeared deeply troubled. Observing this, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu asked, Why, Dasarayaru? Do you seem so distressed? With a heavy sigh, Dasa replied, Who can oppose the divine will? It pains me deeply to know that I will not have the fortune of seeing your divine feet, conversing with you, or receiving your teachings for much longer. Gurudeva, I cut short the remainder of my pilgrimage and rush back just to see you. Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, smiling gently, said, How could you, a wise soul and knower of all, feel this way, Dasa? There is no alternative to the divine well, is there? He then explained to Sri Purandaradasaru his experience, the commands of Sri Krishna, the arrival of Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu, the responsibilities entrusted to him, and the plans to entrust the Mahasamsthana to Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu. On the third day, he instructed Purandaradasaru to continue serving Sri Hari and Vayu as a support for these developments. Overcome with emotion, Sri Purandaradasaru clasped the Guru's feet, wept and said, "This is all the benefit I could ask for in this life. I will follow your commands in every way." Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu then shared his intentions with the scholars, disciples, close associates, officials of the Matha and Emperor Achyutadevaraya. He instructed them to complete all arrangements for transferring the Mahasamsthana to Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu. On the Tritiya of Falguna Bahula in Vilambi Samvatsara, the Sri Lokapavana Matha was abuzz with grand celebration. Thousands of people, including citizens of the capital, devotees, scholars, political leaders, Emperor Achyutadevaraya and his son-in-law Ramaraja gathered for the event. Mangala instruments played and the scholars chanted Vedic hymns. Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu was seated on a magnificent golden throne placed on expansive platform. With assistance from Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu, other close disciples and associates, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu performed a grand coronation. He entrusted the leadership of Sri Madhvacharya's Mahasamsthana, the position of Royal Guru, and the chancellorship of the Vijayanagara Sanskrit University to Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu, blessing him with all the honors and responsibilities. Afterwards, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu instructed Emperor Achyutadevaraya and Ramaraya to show the same devotion and support to the new Jagadguru, Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu, as they had showed to him, ensuring the successful continuation of the Mahasamsthana. Bowing before Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu, Achyutadevaraya and Ramaraya pledged to act in accordance with the instructions of the new Rajaguru and presented royal honors and offerings. Scholars, disciples and devotees also offered their respects and gifts to Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu, who blessed them all with Phalabantrakshata, that is sacred rice and blessings. The grand event concluded with great splendor. That evening after the lamp worship, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu, Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu delivered discourses and blessed the gathering with Phalabantrakshata. Once the assembly dispersed, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu sent Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu and Srinivasa Tirtharu to rest. He then sat with hundreds of devotees, disciples, followers and patrons engaging in discussions about Lord Krishna's divine glory. Later, he called Sri Purandaradasaru and said, "Tonight, let there be a continuous session of your bhajans. Let us spend the night awake in devotion." Following the Guru's command, Sri Purandaradasaru began singing bhajans, while Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu occasionally joined in, singing praises of Lord Hari. The entire night was spent in devotion and contemplation. On Falguna Krishna Chaturthi in Vilambi Samvatsara, that is March 1539 CE, at the break of dawn, around 4 a.m., Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu completed his morning rituals of bathing, chanting and meditation. He sat on a seat, radiating divine peace. Sri Purandaradasaru, leading disciples and hundreds of devotees gathered to offer the respect and sat beside him. Purandaradasaru appeared grief-stricken, folding his hands and sitting silently with tears streaming down his face. In contrast, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu was filled with bliss and radiated an extraordinary divine glow. With a gentle smile, the Guru began delivering a final discourse to his devoted disciples, glorifying the incomprehensible and miraculous greatness of Lord Hari. As if a river of divine wisdom was flowing from his words, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu's teachings overwhelmed the gathered devotees with devotion and reverence. Everyone listened intently, absorbed in the profound spiritual insights. When the discourse concluded, the Guru blessed the assembly, praying for Lord Hari to bestow well-being and prosperity upon them. Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu then called Sri Purandaradasaru close, spoke with him briefly, and entrusted him with a sacred Tulsi bead necklace. Holding the necklace in his hand, he entered a meditative state, chanting the Lord's name. Sri Purandaradasaru, completely focused, sat gazing at the radiant face of his Guru. After some time, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu opened his eyes, looked around once more and smiled. With a serene countenance, he offered a silent prayer to Lord Hari in his heart. "O Supreme Cause of the Universe, Consort of Lakshmi, Protector of devotees, Remover of all inauspiciousness, O Purushottama, Sri Krishna, in accordance with your divine will, I now conclude this avatara to prepare for the special service you desire on me in the future. O Lord, Murali Mohana, Sri Mula Gopala Krishna, as I conclude this sacred journey, my heart longs for the divine vision of your transcendental and beautiful lotus feet. O Master, whose feet are worshipped by beings across the 14 worlds, liberator of your devotees from the bondage of samsara, grant me the vision of your eternal lotus feet, the bestower of moksha and supreme bliss. With these heartfelt words, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtha recited the Bhagavata sloka as if it emerged naturally from his lips. May I meditate on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, marked with symbols like the thunderbolt, god, flag, and lotus. Those feet, with their tall, radiant red nails shining like circular halos, dispel the immense darkness of ignorance in my heart with their effulgent light. At that moment, a divine radiance appeared in the room. Everyone present was filled with awe and astonishment, unable to comprehend the source of the effluence. To their eyes, it appeared as resplendent light, but nothing more. However, within the glorious light before Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, only he could behold the beautiful and transcendent lotus feet of Sri Balakrishna, the Supreme Lord of countless universes. These feet, crimson like lotus petals, adorned with jeweled ankles, golden bells, and resplendent toe rings, encrusted with navaratnas, that is 9 precious gems, exuded an unparalleled beauty. These divine feet, venerated by Brahma, Rudra, Indra, and other celestial beings, and all seekers of liberation, appeared exclusively to Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu's vision. Overcome with emotion, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu experienced divine ecstasy. His voice trembled with devotion and tears of joy streamed from his eyes. In deep reverence he said, O Lord, Master, Supreme Being, I am truly blessed. Infinite salvation to your sacred lotus feet, which have graced this humble servant's request. Following your command, I now conclude this avatara by touching your divine feet and finding fulfillment. O ocean of compassion, shower your mercy on the servant. Victory to Sri Mula Gopala Krishna. With these words, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu leaned forward, clasped Sri Krishna's lotus feet in his hands, and reverently placed his head upon them. With this final act, he brought his avatara to a close and entered a meditative state of contemplation on Sri Narayana. Sri Purandaradasaru, a witness to this divine event, stood entranced, overwhelmed by what he had seen. The hundreds of devotees, scholars, and followers present in the assembly watched in awe as Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu bent forward, extended his hands, placed his head on his hands, and became motionless. They wondered why their Guru remained in this posture, unaware that at that very moment, with the touch of Sri Krishna's lotus feet, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu had completed his earthly mission and merged into the divine presence of Sri Hari. The devotees remained unaware that through the power of the yoga, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu had brought his avatara to its glorious conclusion. Only later did they realize the profound nature of what had transpired before their eyes. Suddenly, Sri Purandaradasu stood up, looked towards the sky, and exclaimed, Guru Sarvabhouma, O Master, have you left us orphaned and turned your focus towards Sri Hari's assembly? Gurudeva, who will guide us now? Overwhelmed with grief, he wept profusely while recalling the virtues of his Guru and began lamenting. Hearing Dasa's words, the gathered crowd was struck with the weight of the realization as if hit by a thunderbolt. They cried out, What? Guru Sarvabhouma has departed on his divine journey. Alas, what a profound scholar, who left his body through yogic powers and reached Mukunda's lotus feet without us realizing it. Will we ever see such a Guru again? How unfortunate are we? They were inconsolable in their sorrow. As Purandaradasaru continued gazing towards the heavens, he witnessed something extraordinary. The vision he saw was indescribable, and in a state of devotion, ecstasy, he began narrating the divine scene. Vyasaraya, having ascended to the assembly of Chitranjaya, that is Lord Narayana, is welcomed by the liberated souls with precious jewels and lights of gems. He is being seated on a chair of resplendent jewels, riding towards the solar abode and then to the glorious Satyaloka with joy. With celestial instruments resonating with enchanting melodies, a shower of flowers descends, and the liberated ones offer divine lights. The Gandharvas sing, the Magadha groups celebrate, and the immortals gather, joining in a grand celestial festival. The celestials approach to greet him, while the Haridasas, the servants of the Vishnu, sing praises of Lord Vishnu's virtues. On this day of Falguna Chaturthi in Vilambi Samvatsara in Vijayanagar, in the early hours, seated in Padmasana, he chanted Narayana, the lotus-eyed Lord, and folded his hands. All the tasks he undertook on the earth in so many ways have been completed. It was as though his divine mission had reached fulfillment. Messengers of Kamalaksha, the lotus-eyed Lord, came to summon him through the yogic path to a realm where he no longer needed to remain. On a golden seat of lotus, accompanied by Purandara Vitala, I saw the Lord arriving, radiant with splendor, extending his hands to receive him. This divine narration, filled with celestial imaginary, was a testament to the grand welcome Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu received as he transcended to the eternal realm of Lord Narayana. The news that Sri Vyasaraja Guru Sarvabhouma had entered into deep meditation on Lord Narayana reached Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu and Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu, leaving them deeply grieved. Mourning the loss of the great Guru, they reminiscent about his unmatched virtues and love for his disciple, shedding tears in devotion. The news of Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu's departure spread throughout the capital, and thousands of people flocked to witness the final darshan of the revered Guru. Emperor Achyutadevaraya and his son-in-law Ramaraya was profoundly saddened and came to pay their final respects, offering heartfelt tributes. Ramaraya then approached Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu's disciples, Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu and Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu, with the emperor's wish to perform the installation of Sri Vyasaraja Vrindavana, sacred tomb, with grandeur and in accordance with tradition involving all the honors of Kannada Empire. The disciples approved the plan and preparations were initiated. As per Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu's instructions to Sri Purandaradasru, it was decided that his Vrindavana would be placed on the sacred central islet of the Tungabhadra river, near the Vrindavanas of the revered predecessors of the Mahasamsthana, Sri Padmanabha Tirtharu, Sri Jaya Tirtharu, Sri Kavindra Tirtharu, and Sri Vagisha Tirtharu. A grand procession was organized, with all the royal honors of the Kannada Empire, and Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu's mortal remains were adored and placed in a golden palanquin, carried by Brahmins, accompanied by musicians playing auspicious instruments and the chanting of Vedic hymns. The procession reached the islet of the Tungabhadra river, where, following the sacred tradition of the Mahasamsthana, the Vrindavana was established near the Vrindavana of Sri Padmanabha Tirtharu. On that day, Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu and Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu conducted the worship of the Lord and Mahasamaradhana, that is final rites, for Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu with great devotion and grandeur. The Vrindavana was beautifully decorated with silk garments, floral garlands and sandalwood paste under the guidance of Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu. Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu carrying Lord Sri Mula Gopala Krishna Pattabhirama Vyasadeva placed the deity on the Vrindavana in a golden plate, performing the Kanakabhisheka, that is ritual bathing with golden water, and offering Hastodaka, that is sacred water, along with the Mahamangalarati, that is grand arati. With a choked voice and tears streaming from his eyes, Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu composed and offered a Charama Shloka, that is final verse, in tribute to his Guru, meaning, this Vyasaraja, like a mighty lion among elephants, vanquished opponents in debates. May his divine presence in this sacred Vrindavana remove all our fears and fulfill our cherished desires. Following this elaborate ritual were conducted, Brahmins performed worship and thousands of devotees were served Tirtha Prasada. A grand feast with delicious offerings was provided to all the attendees and generous donations were distributed. Over 3 days, a Vidvat Sabha, that is assembly of scholars, was held, during which scholars, students, poets, musicians and Haridasas were honored with gifts and recognition for their contribution. On the event of Uttararadhana, that is final ceremony, Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu, standing in front of the Vrindavana of Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, offered heartfelt praise and composed his stotra, that is hymn, glorifying the greatness of his Guru. He reverently offered his stotra and prostrated before the Vrindavana. Stotra composed by Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu. I bow to Sri Mukunda, whose lotus feet are worshipped by the gods. His divine glance grants prosperity and removes ignorance. May he, the eternal bee of Anandatirtha lotus heart, guide my intellect free from arrogance. Sri Vyasa Yogi, immersed in the lotus feet, revered by devotees, wise in the essence of Dharma, a renunciate free from the worldly desire, a singer of divine glory, ever surrounded by the music of celestial beings, may he always bless me with auspiciousness. Master of Advaita's refutation and propagator of Madhva Siddhanta, effortless conqueror of debaters, who liberated the devout with his teachings, may Sri Vyasa Yogi protect me, marked with divine strength like the thunderbolt, and armed with divine knowledge, a loin to the elephantine scholars of opposing schools. May Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, the supreme teacher, grant me success and fulfillment of my desires. His very name destroys heaps of sins. Simply by remembering him, evil spirits and troubles flee. May I always take refuge in Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, who is the crushed jewel of Madhva Siddhanta, liberator of seeker through his divine knowledge, unparalleled in scholarship. May the blessing of Sri Vyasa Yogi ensure the prosperity of all my endeavors. Salutation to Vyasa Muni, the supreme Guru, who fulfills the wishes of his devotees, like the Kalpataru, wish-granting tree, to those who bow to him, and like the Kamadhenu, the divine cow, to those who worship him. He protected the three Vyasas, that is, philosophical legacies, strengthened Madhva's teachings with clarity and precision, and transformed difficult concept into universally accepted doctrines. May he always protect me. May Vyasarajaru, the moon of Madhva Siddhanta, complete with divine qualities, ever bless me with success and enlightenment. This stotra is a masterpiece reflecting the deep reverence Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu had for Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu. It extols Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu's unparalleled scholarship, his victories over Advaita, his devotion to Lord Narayana, and his steadfast propagation of Madhva Siddhanta. Each verse underscores his virtue, divine blessings, and role as a beacon for devotees and scholars. Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu, along with the disciples and devotees, concluded elaborate rituals and worship at the Vrindavana of Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu. They adored the Vrindavana with swill garments, flower garlands, and sandalwood paste and performed Kanakabhisheka, that is, golden ablution, with devotion. The atmosphere is filled with chanting of Vedic hymns, devotional songs, and offerings of gratitude. The day concluded with a grand feast for all attendees, including Brahmins, scholars, students, and devotees. Over 3 days, assemblies of scholars, poets, musicians, and Haridasas were held, honoring the legacy of Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, the Guru Sarvabhouma, the sovereign among gurus. Sri Vidyaratnakara Tirtha's work on the life of Sri Vyasaraja Guru Sarvabhouma. I bow to Lakshmi Narasimha, who bears the goddess Lakshmi on his chest, and to the venerable gurus of the profound wisdom. I also bow to Sri Vyasa Yogi, who has perfected the scriptures, fulfilled the desire of devotees, and earned the grace of Lord Vishnu. May virtuous souls find joy in these humbled verses of praise. Born as a son of the pious Rama Acharya Sudhiman by divine blessings, he was graciously nurtured by Brahmanya Tirtharu, the great Yati. In the auspicious year and month of Vaishaka, on the 7th day, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu is incarnated as an aspect of Prahlada, blessed by Shesha. In his youth, he was ordained into the fourth stage of life, that is sannyasa, by the blessing of Sri Brahmanya Tirtharu, the master of grace wisdom. To gain knowledge, he went to the renowned teacher Raja Abhidhama and spent 12 years absorbing the wisdom of Mahesha's teachings. During the 12th year, in the Vaishaka month, he attained the seat of authority as a great ascetic. For the joy of the Lord Hari, he composed monumental works such as Nyaya Amruta and Tarka Tandava, making complex doctrines accessible to all. In the Shalivana Shaka year 1461, he carved 732 deities of Lord Hanuman to protect the land from the afflictions of demonic forces. He defeated the Yavanas and Lichas, that is, invaders, demonstrating immense valor during his lifetime. In the final days of his early sojourn, on Krishna Paksha day of the month of Magha, he brought joy to his followers and fulfilled their desires, entrusting the kingdom of the earth to a ruler named Krishna. In that year, in the Vilambi Samvatsara, on the banks of Vyasa Samudra, he established a great reservoir, having upheld the dignity of the Vedantic tradition. He meditated deeply on Lord Narayana and concluded his earthly mission. This remarkable life of Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, filled with divine miracles and spiritual mastery, was recounted by Sri Vidyaratnakara Tirtha, a scholar of unparalleled wisdom. Let those with pure heart read this glorious account. May Lord Narasimha, the protector of devotees, be pleased with those who revere Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu. May this revered Yatishwara, through the vast ocean of his blessings, grant wisdom to the seekers of truth. This work, composed by Sri Vidyaratnakara Tirtha, narrates the extraordinary life, spiritual contribution and divine miracles of Sri Vyasaraja Guru Sarvabhouma. It highlights his unparalleled scholarship, devotion and service to Lord Narayana, his role as a protector of Dharma, and his eternal legacy in Vedantic tradition. Thus, in the supremely sacred lineage of Shastika dynasty, the most revered Sri Vyasaraja Guru Sarvabhouma, an incarnation of Prahlada Raja, assumed the sacred seat of learning, the Vidya Samsthana of Sri Rajendra Tirtharu's Purvadimata, the great institution established by Sri Madhvacharya. For 85 years, he tirelessly travelled across Bharatakanda, twice defeating hundreds of great scholars and opponents in debates, firmly establishing Dvaita Siddhanta and proclaiming the supremacy of Hari. Through the composition of extraordinary texts such as Chandrika, Nyayamrita, and Tarkatandava, he safeguarded propagated the philosophy of Madhvacharya. He supported hundreds of scholars and Brahmins by granting them lands and agraharas, organized annadanas, that is food donation, for lakhs of people, and served as the guru to 6 emperors of the Kannada Empire. He contributed to the holistic development of the empire by establishing a Sanskrit university, establishing tens and thousands of people to study and excel in the worldly knowledge and become great scholars. He established 732 idols of Sri Pranadeva, that is Hanuman, across the land, realizing the direct vision of Sri Krishna Murali Mohana, and built hundreds of lakes and reservoirs for the benefit of farmers and the common people. He continuously worked for the welfare of all virtuous individuals, nurturing stalwarts such as Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu, Sri Vadirajaru, Sri Govinda Odiyar, Sri Srinivasa Tirtharu, Sri Narayana Yati Raja, as well as enlightened souls like Sri Purandaradatharu and Sri Kanakadasaru. Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu contributed immensely to the spread of Haridasa Sahitya and Kannada literature, ushering in the golden era of Vijayanagar Kannada Empire, making it renowned across the world. Revered by the kings and emperors, he demonstrated countless miracles and gained eternal fame. Following the divine command of the Lord, he concluded his avatar with unmatched accomplishment. The greatness of Sri Vyasaraja Guru Sarvabhouma is immeasurable, profound, infinite, and indescribable. The Madhva community and the people of India are eternally blessed to have had such a divine soul as their Guru. We humbly pray that Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu's holy feet bestow the knowledge, devotion, and auspicious blessings upon all virtuous souls and protect them always. May Sri Madhva Yatindra Sadguru bestow eternal blessings, offered at the feet of Sri Krishna. Thus concludes the 4th chapter of Sri Vyasaraja Guru Sarvabhouma Charitram in Kaliyugada Kalpataru. Hari Om. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.